IVM.
We'd like to thank Storytel for sponsoring this show. Storytel is an audiobook platform that lets you hear hundreds of thousands of stories on your mobile, PC, wherever you prefer. Now, generally, Storytel is a great deal at $2.99 a month for an unlimited number of books, but for our listeners, we've got something special. The first month for IVM listeners is now just $99. That's an insane deal. It's $200 off the first month. To start you off, let me recommend one of my favorite books, Range, How Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World. This is a book by David Epstein and is one of the most thoughtful books I've read recently. He talks about early specialization and why that's not necessarily the best way to go in a modern world where problems are not always simple and viewing them from multiple lenses are helpful. In the Indian context where we're forced to choose science, commerce, or arts in the 10th standard, I think this is particularly applicable and it's a great read. So go to storytel.com/IVM, go get your first month at just $99 and check out Range by David Epstein. Great read.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. All right, we need your questions at What Cyrus Says on gmail.com as well as on social media. It's easy to find us, so please send in your questions. We will answer them as briefly as we can. Each question has taken us 10 to 15 minutes generally. We're bringing it down to 12 in this new year, which is coming soon. Questions, please. Let's start. It's called Cock and Bull, and time for Professor Cyrus Brocha to spill the beans. Very interesting thing. We've got this new, for some time now, this new app, I think, or software, I don't know what to call it. I won't even name it because I want other competitors to try it. But it says very clearly to me, and guys, panelists, or entrepreneur-like people, the recordings look and sound much better than what you see live. This is the most insulting sentence I've heard in my life. How can they say this to us? Is it because we're Indians? Do they just think we don't look good or something in our own eyes? I mean, well, how can you say that? Look and sound better. I mean, that's how? How? You know, it's like having an ugly baby and just saying, "Better, you look nice." This is wrong. See, I understand that the sound can get enhanced, but how can they make me look better? What do they mean? Please tell me. The floor is yours.
2020 is a difficult year. A global pandemic, protests, elections, recessions. You get the picture. What we need is a space where we can have nuanced discussions about global affairs and foreign policy. That's where I come in. My name is Hamsini Hariharan and I host the States of Anarchy podcast. Every second Tuesday, I speak to experts in the field of international relations to make a little more sense of the world. So join me on the IVM podcast app, website, or wherever you're listening to me right now.
We start Cock and Bull with Tushar joining us. He's got his own podcast. We'll talk about that in a second. But guys, on the subject, what the hell do they mean? You are the tech guys. Amit, you do this.
Yeah, it's basically that the video that you're seeing right now is being shown at lower resolutions because of internet bandwidth, but what's being recorded at the back end is at a higher resolution. That's all they're saying.
I think that is the rational answer. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to show you.
Take a pause, Tushar. No, we want to enjoy the guy. Yeah.
I think what they're trying to do is put you on the back foot. I think they're just like, just know your place in life.
Okay. I mean, it's
and
similar
that
to my
is a constant insult from all these softwares that we...
Is it directed at Asians and Indians? I get a little racist feeling about it. Probably if you're in Spain or something, it doesn't happen, It's just the moment they target our markets, straight away, you look better. Don't worry. Don't go to another site.
It's just that Cyrus takes anything that technology says very seriously. It seems like an affront to him.
Actually, Silverie, I'm guilty of that, if I may be honest, with everything. I think everything literally. So if someone says 10 minutes and they don't come in 10 minutes, by the 12th minute, my heart starts racing. Sorry. Not to mention that 2 or 3 minutes beyond time.
So right now Cyrus is using my laptop, right? Because reasons. But we're getting him...
Third world country, just extended. Now, reasons always to do with
technology hates Cyrus.
Yeah, and that.
We're getting him a new computer, right? A desktop. And so I was talking to the guy who's building it yesterday, and he was asking me, what software do you want to put? I'm like, don't put anything, just one button for Chrome and set a shortcut for Riverside.fm. I don't want anything else on this computer.
Note to self, Chrome has porn, so that's done. Thank you, I was worried when you didn't simplify the whole thing, I'd be stuck with only this bloody podcast. But yeah, all good. Good
but see, you're watching porn in India. What is this? What means are you using?
Look at Antariksh pretending.
There's no porn in India.
Oh, right. It's that.
Antariksh doesn't watch porn; he provides porn.
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
Which
now
is
this is
a
horrifying.
feature that I think IVM is also looking at. There's one podcast we don't have is a porn podcast, audio
True.
porn podcast, where we talk to people who really, I think, appreciate. Why can't we? It is an art form.
Yeah.
Appreciate.
It is
Fine.
sure. We should
Appreciate
we
fine.
should be
Fine.
doing like deep dissertations and dives into like the filmographies of different porn stars. Is that
Yeah,
the
we
idea
do.
here?
Well, that's one way to go, but I'm just thinking of the psychology where a lot of people say that because of porn, women are objectified so much and men misbehave with women. I go the other way. I say because of porn, men go and satisfy themselves quietly on the side and end the matter, and then hopefully don't irritate women. So it can also be looked from that perspective, because that's the way it's worked with me and my
Yeah,
friends.
I'm not
Not that we
commenting on
collectively watch porn and
that.
satisfy ourselves individually, but in a collective. It used to happen, by the way, in the 80s and 90s. Tushar, I don't know how old you are, but when we all used to sit around one video and one TV, and one guy's house had no parents. Fuck it. All of the house is free. बंदे लोग बैठ जाओ और porn देखो. And then
I
we'll
think the
look at each
worst,
other and just feeling horny.
the worst were the magazines that were shared between friends, and then
I know those
eventually
were
became very sticky.
Sticky, and particularly 3 or 4 pages were always the worst ones.
no, they were not.
You all know why.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah.
that was a very strange form of user rating.
Imagine you return it to the publisher for him to find out how things are going.
Like, "Acha, ye chal raha hai. This is how we'll do our reader survey."
Actually, yeah, that would be the best way to do that, wouldn't it?
It's better than Tom and Mom and all these poor Republic getting fired left, right, and center by the police here for rating theft, which nobody cares about. Will somebody tell the police and Republic nobody cares about this issue? Nobody, not a single person in the world.
Including the advertisers.
Yeah, who will continue to advertise? It doesn't matter.
चलेगा चलेगा हमको फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
Yeah, correct, because maybe it's inside channel to certain things. Let's get on with our show.
All right. We'll get the topics. Firstly, we should talk about Bombay seemingly going back into curfew because of this
So happy.
supposed UK COVID strain that has come up from
Correct.
the UK.
Britain rules over us, so that continues. Whatever happens in Britain affects us immediately. But I'm really happy because, again, please don't throw stones at me, but the last 2 months I'm missing lockdown, and I'll tell you why. It spoiled me. I was one of the first guys to take the car out, go to the office, go to places and all. And as much as I miss people, I suddenly enjoyed my drive, enjoyed my parking, enjoyed my space, and now it's gone.
So
And
lockdown for everyone but you.
yeah, it was a privileged lockdown, which I sort of enjoyed. I mean, it's like, well, other people have no food, we do. After some time, the sensitivity issue is pushed aside, and you enjoy your life. That's how we survive disparity in income in India. But sadly, it disappeared. But now this 12 to 6, 11 to 6.
11 to 6 a.m.
11 to 6.
Yeah,
From today onwards, actually. Today, 22nd, when we're recording this.
Yeah.
I never understood this. Like, if they would have said that we're putting in this curfew to prevent people from going out on Christmas and New Year's, I would still have had like some understanding that, okay, you know what, this maybe makes sense to like, prevent mass gatherings.
no pun intended, because Mass is celebrated in Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, that's true actually. Good
Carry
point.
on.
I was not thinking of that. But
Sorry
I mean, like the idea that we're doing this because there's a new strain of the virus in the UK is just nonsensical, because virus does not go to sleep. It exists at all points in time. I just don't understand.
No, but I think it is related to Christmas and New Year's. I think the municipal commissioner was saying something along those lines as well.
It's only till 31st, so obviously,
Till the
1st or whatever.
5th of Jan. 5th of
Okay,
Jan.
5th of Jan.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
covering the 2 weeks so-called festive period.
Yeah. So I think they're covering that period because I think all the parties, it can be a big spreader event.
Sure, we can't say period.
I think
Sorry, my fault.
Time zone.
This time zone. No,
Don't rely on me for
but
English.
weirdly enough, this hasn't happened throughout the festive period in Bombay. We've not had much of an issue during the festive period, if you think about it.
Yeah. Do we want to like dive into what festivals we didn't have a problem with and what festivals are about to have a problem
We're
with?
not trying to alienate people. We're just saying
Yeah,
that
we're not that podcast.
Not that podcast. Okay.
they probably had a rise, especially more North India than so much in the rest.
But not
they
in
want
Bombay.
Bombay, we're under 7,000 cases
Very
now. no?
small
Bombay, not
bump
so
in
much, not so much. Bombay, actually, it looks like, I don't want to say it too soon, it looks almost like we are declining virus-wise.
We're under 7,000 cases now. We had like this.
It's a tragedy. sorry.
It's the same level it was in June.
Yeah. Okay. But okay, now coming back to 11 to 6, because offline me and Silverie were discussing it, because I still have the same problems he has, even though I'm twice his father's age, which is I can't stand that police fascism that happens with it. So his worry was, and I think Tushar, you can advise him nicely here, because you're between us in age. Can he go out, get himself drunk, and wander around at 1:30? Is there a safe time for him to be urinating
No,
on the
so he
road,
can.
doing the things that
So,
Vijay Gawai do?
well, I don't know what kind of things he does, but I think no. But the thing is, I think they clarified. I think so. So by curfew, what they mean is 5 people can't gather together
So
at
if
one
you're a
place.
rock band
Oh,
on
okay.
stage with
So you're
five
allowed
people,
to drive out. You're allowed to drive out. You're allowed to do everything else, as long as you're not. And
a
I think
group,
the basic target is bars and pubs and clubs and restaurants
and the
where they don't
BJP,
want
so
people.
they can't have
Yeah,
gatherings
they
to
can't
attack the
gather.
government. Fair enough.
Good point, actually. That's
I
how
bet
they'll
they
win the
all
BMP
all the
election.
personnel outside Arnab's Republic waiting for groups to come
Yeah,
out.
yeah. No,
Get
they
up,
will.
pakado sale ko. 20 days imprisonment. We have to, Milord, we have to interrogate them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's so the curfew. Then I think the word makes it sound like it's one of those things where you'll just not be able to
No,
get
but
outdoors,
Tushar, let's be
but
honest.
you can.
That first two,
But
three
yeah,
months
the
has
cops.
scarred us.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry, but the first 2, 3 months have scarred us. I'm talking about March, April, May ki baat,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
Where I think Silvery is right in a way. We had all of us had a few skirmishes, or friends had, including people taking their cars, etc., etc. So there's that fear.
yeah,
But there is, I think you're right. They're being more benevolent now in the way they're
yeah,
working.
yeah.
So maybe we don't need to. Silvery,
They don't want you to go to a restaurant, basically. That's it.
no, they want you just
Or
leave, get out by
yeah,
11, 11:30.
leave
Be
by
home.
10.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
leave by 10.
But
Yeah,
restaurants are shut at 11 anyway, aren't they?
Oh,
yeah. So now they'll
they
shut
did
it
that.
at
Yeah.
10.
Listen, I went to Stir Fry, one of my favorites, on last Saturday. Speaking of restaurants,
Yeah,
and we were the only people. There were, one more table was occupied. Of course,
Mm.
early 12:15, 12:30. But still,
yeah.
it's not like they're doing booming business. I asked them.
No, they're not at
It's really
all.
tough.
Dude, these guys are they're struggling, man. I mean,
It's
like,
scary. It's scary.
See, we don't care about how many cases are there, but we do care about our restaurateurs suffering. You see where we
Yeah.
stand. The elite who like to eat. Huh.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, it is. I guess I don't. You're just embarrassing us, right? Because now you're calling us out with this idea.
I just don't. We're being authentic here. The fall
No,
of
because
ours.
but Cyrus, imagine what kind of a world would it be if after the pandemic ends, there are no restaurants on Swiggy. What will we do with our lives? We need them to survive.
And not just
We
Swiggy.
need them.
I like I think honestly we have to go out to eat. What do we do with our
Yeah,
lives?
yeah,
See, I don't drink anymore, so honestly, the only thing I have is eating. And well,
yeah, yeah.
the other.
We need that shit. We need it.
no, but I think restaurants will be around. I think that some of them are fine. Many of them are screwed,
But
right?
the
Yeah, yeah,
The big problem is rent. Are you paying a lot of rent? If you're paying a lot of rent, you're screwed.
I was trying to do the maths, Amit. If they have about 20% in reality,
Yeah.
20% on the weekend, 20-25% on the weekend, which is the days that cover their bad days like Monday, Tuesday.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
What's the
Can't
point
survive.
as you go forward? That's not a business. That's a purposely. That's what Mulayam Singh Yadav used to do in the old days. Apparently, put money in businesses and make sure they fail so that he can clean it. But that
But
Indians don't do that anymore. And Mulayam, I apologize. I have no proof.
a lot of them are looking at delivery seriously, right? I mean, like they are creating delivery sub brands and stuff like that because that's
yeah.
the only way that you are going to be able to kind of recoup some form of money back, right? Otherwise, it's possible, man. I mean, like,
Also, it's particularly bad in a city like Bombay where the rents are so high. Like you can still survive in a Pune or other smaller cities, but Bombay, the rents. I mean, 40% of your cost is the rent.
yeah.
So forget the farmers. We have our own agitation coming up, is what you're saying. Our right to eat.
People of Bombay don't agitate, Cyrus. Let's be honest.
You're right. We're so sweet. I want to ask you, Tushar, you're an Abhichandani. What's the difference between
Yeah.
Abhichandani, Bulchandani, and Mulchandani?
I have no clue, man. I've tried to figure this
I have
out
so
for
many
years.
Sindhi friends.
I think I'm assuming it's related to the village, but I don't know. Then I'm like, what if was my family part of like Abhi village or something?
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
it's like you're the now Chandani, the present generation.
Yeah, the now Chandani.
And the Bulchandani, the Bulgia, the old ones.
Bhul gaya, they forgot.
Kaun
Yeah,
tha? Kaun the wo? How well we put it together as historians, I tell you,
yeah,
academics from the future.
yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Sorry. So I've been hearing all these rumors about the UK strain of the coronavirus. One of them is that the infection rate. Again, there are articles disputing this, but they say that the infection rate is much higher. In the
Yeah,
sense,
70%. Yeah, they say.
yeah, they're saying
70% more infections.
exactly. But they're also saying, which I don't understand how
Or
this
likely to
works.
infect or infection causing more
Yeah.
trouble to the
No,
person.
you're more likely to infect.
70% easier in terms of infecting.
Yeah,
Like
so
it's 70% more likely to infect you
Wow.
than the previous strain.
But
I hope
apparently,
you're-
like if say one of us is infected and we are in the company of that person, then it takes. They're saying right now the current strain takes about say 20 to 30 minutes to take effect. This new UK strain is about 10 to 15 seconds, and the other person can get infected. But they didn't tell us this in the beginning, no? That the current strain takes like what 20 to 30 minutes.
It takes time. It took
9
time
to
to
15
find this
minutes.
out, huh?
There was some mention of it, but the thing is, there's also been so much research on this stuff, as in
Yeah.
so much news on
Yeah.
this stuff. You don't know.
Because there's so much out there. You know what is true. So I also brought my own stuff, saying it takes 40 minutes, so you can embrace. I mean, just do it. People just believe anything. Like my
People do.
family and building, they just keep still sending. Now London is a new thing. Keep sending bad news, tragedy. The moment you send them, they don't verify anything. Just send it. So we also should send. By the way, Silverie seems to have got the bug. I can't see him anymore.
What?
Okay.
Oh, he's there audio, but I can't see him. But that's fine.
Yeah, that's.
See, Cyrus, the recording will look much better than written.
Exactly.
I think 25% advantage to Team India.
All right, let's get to the next one.
Yes,
This
please.
is a very, very cool, fun topic. This is Atlantic City is auctioning off the chance to blow up the Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino. So basically, there's a Trump hotel and casino that exists in Atlantic City, and Atlantic City's mayor, going by the name of Marty Small, he has decided.
Sorry. That's,
funny name. Sorry, had to
it just sounded funny.
Yeah,
Hi, I'm Marty Small.
Yeah. So Marty Small.
Imagine on his Suhag Raat, sorry to interrupt, but if it wasn't a very big weapon of mass destruction, the wife would be like, Jesus, man, what the hell?
That's Mighty Small. No, it's Marty Small.
Nice. 3 words. Yeah. All right, sorry,
So
go on.
Mayor Marty Small of Atlantic City is using the destruction as an opportunity to raise money for the Boys and Girls Club of Atlantic City, and so far, 16 people have bid, and the top bid is $102,000. They are hoping to raise up to $1 million at the very least.
Hey, it's all bull. Boys like to blow up things. If nobody wants to do any boys club, the guys who have bid, all these rich guys are like, I want to blow up a building. If you had the chance and the money to blow up a building, it's a seriously interesting proposition.
It's so cathartic, no? So cathartic for a lot of people. Like,
Yeah.
you Trump.
I think it's a chance to blow to press the button.
Trump hotel,
We have to press the button that'll cause.
Well, you guys remember the Japanese restaurants? We started this thing about you break the glasses and the plates to like a therapeutic thing. You eat it, then you can break the glasses and the plates.
That's an old Greek thing, no? It's
There are Greek restaurants.
They were just drunk. They were just drunk and throwing at each other's cousins at a wedding. That's Punjabis of Greek descent, like Silverie still do that.
Didn't know that was a Japanese thing, though. I mean, like I've done it.
Very famous.
Really interesting.
Yeah, so they do it in a far more, orthodox and orderly fashion.
Yeah, no, but
There's no Greek Indian behavior there.
But it's interesting that it's so parallel, right? Because I mean, like a Greek wedding, that's literally what you're supposed to do. You finish your food and you're supposed to break your tail.
Irish also break the glasses.
Okay, intentionally.
Yeah, the unintentional one. Why do we mention? That's just all of us drunk. You don't have to be Irish stereotype for that.
Imagine an Indian wedding with a steel ka thali.
Hey, hello. Indian weddings, especially in the north, where people have guns. I mean, honestly, glasses is a civilized way to go about it. You don't shoot your auntie by mistake. Rupali auntie, I'm so sorry, yaar. Why was she on the first floor? Come on, Silverie.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. It's a lovely story.
No,
So I'm just saying that people like to blow up things.
That's the whole thing.
Also catharsis, no? Like, screw you, Trump.
Yeah. They're hoping to raise $1 million.
Why don't we just call Al Qaeda and tell them, you guys, you do this all the time. Yeah, we're giving you one for free. I'm not saying put Donald Trump in the building. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it's an option.
Probably, best if they don't.
Interesting question. How much would you guys pay? The
No, but
maximum you
that's
guys would pay for this.
You have to first, rider is that we have enough money to not.
Yeah.
It doesn't, we're just.
If you were Jeff Bezos, how much would you pay?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Both of us. Yeah.
But Jeff Bezos, like, you can just pay anything and you don't really
Okay.
care.
All right.
But that's the type. The type is a guy where $100,000 is nothing. Come on.
All right, let's say you had major Hollywood star money,
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
Like a Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks money, right?
You know
Probably
what?
like $1 million.
Close to 100 million US, all right?
Yeah.
That allows you to throw a little money.
Yeah,
out. That's
exactly.
fair.
Yeah.
Fair, right? 100 million each. Okay, now decide.
How much would I pay for this? If I
Yeah.
could do it on the 20th of January, when immediately after Biden was sworn in, I would probably be willing to pay $25 million out of that $100 million.
Wow. But you're looking at the publicity it'll garner for you and your corporate entity.
But I mean, like I
So
would
you're like a
also.
Vijay Mallya, you're flamboyant by doing that. So
Yeah.
perhaps if you're in the liquor business,
It is that, but it's also just like this dude is gone. I mean,
at
like
25, you'll win, bro. I'm too middle class. 25 million to blow
I
up the
mean,
building. I'd rather
I
urinate on the building and not pay a buck. I'll feel the same thing.
give up a quarter of my net worth if I had that kind of net worth
No
to
way,
make
no
a
way.
symbolic statement about this man.
I was looking at $50,000 US if I could get a tax rebate. What a tax
Symbolism
rebate.
is nice and all. The symbolism is nice and all. But I like my money.
See,
Yeah.
But that's why. But
See-
you have 100 million. I'm good with 75. If I have 75,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm not.
that's what you're saying now. That's what you're saying now. Especially after 10 months of less earning and all. I don't know if that's the right decision. Tushar, what about you? You're not saying.
Now, wait, suddenly all of Amit's business partners are like, okay, we should keep him away from the finance.
With all the boards, you're right. All the boards will be, keep him near the
थोड़ा
window.
गड़बड़ हो गया ये तो. No, I'll be like, whoever's bidding whatever, I'll just bid like $2 more than you.
No, but he's doing 25 million. Will you go for 25 million and $2?
Then I'll be like, you enjoy. I'll use my money for other fun things. I'll watch on TV.
In 1 million, I can buy a cheaper building and blow it up. Which is condemned.
Although, you know what I'd like to do?
Actually,
I'd like to
probably
paint.
not,
I'd
no,
like
though.
to paint the building with Trump's face and then blow it up.
There you go.
So it's even more cathartic.
Yes.
God, for a non-American, you've really taken this whole thing very personally. But may I just say, when I was in America,
frustration निकालना पड़ेगा ना.
ठीक है, because you can't touch anyone here. Building or no
Sorry,
building.
no comment.
Only the BMC can blow up buildings here. You know that.
No comment.
But Amit, it's very interesting to know, when 94, when I was there, they were doing this whole Bronx or Brooklyn, was it, building cleanup that was going on. Where a lot of them were condemned and they were invited to watch it. So on weekends, people would go. We went and watched one building being blown up, imploding, as they call it, from inside.
Yeah, where the whole thing falls down. I've seen.
We do it here with structural weakness, but they actually do it.
So they do it when they want to clear a piece of property, right? I've seen a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because
like the papers.
the thing is, they don't have a 5-month-long monsoon that does the job.
Yeah. Or landlords who don't want to spend money. A lot of it is human error. On that gravitational note, Silverie, take us forward.
Yep. So the American Space Force, the new branch of the military, which started in December 2019, if you guys remember, they now have a term that they want to call their employees, and the term is, wait for it, Guardians of the Galaxy. No, it's just Guardians, but they're going with Guardians. Yes.
Don't you feel like the Space Force is like a joke that's gone too far?
Basically,
like someone was like, "Chal try karte," and then like "Chalo, keep trying."
First, they're forced to stop killing black people for no reason on Earth. Then go to the galaxy and decide which alien to attack for no reason.
Yeah,
charity and all this begins at home.
There's the whole doublespeak part of it, right? Guardians is like a very weird word to use for it,
Doesn't
right?
it sound like a pedophilic word? I've always associated guardian with a dangerous male. Oh, he's my guardian. Oh,
the local guardian.
I don't know why.
It's a good term.
Yeah,
It's
also
a friendly
it reminds me of the school thing where you had to put your guardian's name in the form.
the local guardian. Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, like the truth is that like we make fun of the American space efforts, right? In that sense, from Space Force effort thing. The other two countries doing this shit are Russia and China. We don't know what the hell they're doing.
Russia brought back stuff last week. Nobody else has. Russia came back with lots of stuff from the moon. Yeah. They've already put in mixing it with the tiger's penis to make an aphrodisiac, I'm told. So all kinds of stuff. They've come back.
Pay 25 million for
pictures. It. Yeah. Also, they send a lot of their patients from Wuhan there. It's all about the one-way concept.
Patients from China going to Russia to be treated with moon rock and tiger penis.
Something like that.
I like that, dude. That's
if you're going to die, you might as well enjoy some tiger. No, save the tiger.
Save tourism Russian style.
Yeah, but listen, China's fantastic. They've already done. They're like the Sicilian mob. They just sort of do, and then people know about it. Well, the Americans, with all due respect, there's a lot of pomp and splendor attached to the movement, and sometimes it doesn't even come through.
Again, America, there's a lot of PR, right? I mean, like it's all political, it's all theater, all that stuff comes in.
There's also a little bit of transparency, which is a horrible thing.
Well,
transparency can cripple any country. China doesn't bother with that. We must respect China. They just do. And they give you the figures. Arnab and China have a very similar concept. It's just there. The figures are out there. This is what happened. This is our science. Live with it.
Yeah. Oh, I said it, so I said it, yeah.
Not to mention the land Reformation Act of China, where they, the boundary is here today, it'll be there tomorrow. Just carry on. But I love Chinese food made in India. Apparently, Chinese food in China is totally different. So let's not go there. Silverie, why do we talk about all this? We were discussing something else about Galaxy and Guardians and when.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, what are the odds that you guys think that Trump knows about aliens, and that's why he started the space?
Oh, he is one. Because we can't empathize with him or him with us.
That's a good explanation, actually, about Trump.
I mean, like, there's almost nothing to admire about Trump, which is clear from my $25 million point. But having said that, the one thing that he did do is make sure that we got the UFO stuff got released. So, I mean, like, the fact that UFOs are real.
Did he do that, though?
Well, I mean, like, he didn't block it. He could have blocked it. presidents can block release of that kind of classified information.
Was
So
he even
could've blocked
aware?
it.
Was he too
Yeah,
busy?
he wasn't even aware.
He may not have been top of the pile on his desk.
But that's true. His competence is always in question, right? So he might have just like,
Yeah.
whatever, I didn't really pay attention to it.
I mean, he has to fight the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos, Stephen Colbert,
Yeah.
all kinds of detractors out there. Who's got time for bloody UFOs and science?
Exactly. And also, Trump hates listening to experts. So when experts tell him it is actually UFO, like, bullshit. No, yeah, release it. I don't care.
Have you
Yeah,
noticed his style is always to disrespect the person immediately? The so-called expert or big gun or whoever. The disrespect is very important for him as his opening act. It's subtle sometimes, but he always does it.
Yeah, very true. He never misses an opportunity, basically.
Like I felt our PM was wanting to hug him, and he was sort of very, okay, whatever. There's a slight, lack of interest that he shows to the other person. The only one he didn't seem to do that to is Kim Jong-un. Maybe he felt something there. He felt this
He had a moment.
a moment where he said, "This could have been my son," and he looked at his All right. Again, off topic. Let's go back. Silverie, what's the picture behind your shoulder? It looks like a young Kapil Dev.
This is Paresh Rawal from Hera Fairy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
My respect for you is gone forever.
Okay, thanks. What are you
I grew
doing?
up with like Viv Richards, Imran Khan, Elvis Presley, the Beatles, that kind of thing. You have Paresh Rawal in Hera Fairy
Yeah,
in a
man.
very small passport size
Yeah,
photo.
it's always there over
Why?
my shoulder. I like having Paresh Rawal over my shoulder, man. Looking down on me. It's all good.
Okay, so I guess we know where you're voting.
No. I like him as an actor.
This is amazing. Amazing fact we found out. Tushar, what's over your shoulder? Nothing, no?
My shoulder, there is a mirror.
Okay.
You'll be back to the mirror as usual.
Yeah.
Tushar's low self-esteem. Right for this product. Recordings look and sound much better than what you see live.
That's what my mirror says to me.
Same bloody company, I tell you.
Yeah.
It's from China. Silverie,
All right.
save the show.
The next one comes in from Russia. The news is from Russia, basically.
China, Russia bashing
yeah.
day.
In Soviet Russia.
So in Russia,
Yeah, but you can't just go to Russia. You need to take a break and then figure out how to get there. So we'll take a break and come back. And remember, back it's to Russia with love.
Want to learn something new and have a few minutes to spare? Well, then go for the Traveling Professor's Diary, where I, Siddharth Deshmukh, the Traveling Professor, will help you glean from all the insights that I've gained from wherever I've traveled, learned, taught, and repeated. Join me every Tuesday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
We're back on a show called Cock and Bull. Tushar Abhichandani himself, Amit Doshi, Silverie, and myself, four of the greatest orators in the business. See, nobody really pays attention to all this, so we can say
Certified by Arnab.
until we start screaming. Yeah, so if, maybe one day, what if he's a censor board alone? Can you imagine all the channels will be Republic TV, whatever you press?
So I got a question for you. Have you guys heard about this? I saw Anupam Gupta, who does the show Paisa Vaisa for us. He tweeted in the morning that the people who brought us demonetization, the thinkers behind demonetization, are proposing a new tax, and they put out like a full page ad in the Economic Times or something like that, saying that we should eliminate all income taxes and all taxes, and we should only have a bank transaction tax
Oh, so
But on
this
everything.
was
On every transaction.
Yeah.
on every transaction.
yeah.
How much would that be?
That would be a lot.
It's a question of maths, right? It sounds great, but what is the maths?
Yeah, it sounds terrible, dude. It does not sound good in any way whatsoever.
No, but you're looking at
No,
you do a
also-
cumulative
so
tax. You
this
got
was-
close to 40% you're paying, say.
No.
So what am I paying on the transaction? Tell me that.
Whatever you're paying on the transaction, it is still a horrendous tax because you're shifting the burden from income tax
On the
into bank transactions. You are saying that cash transactions will be tax free, only bank transactions will be taxed. So you're re-incentivizing all the black money of your
that is
demonetization that you bloody owed out, right? Which was a purported reason of it.
Gujarati mind 1, Sindhi mind 0. I expected Tushar to come back fast with a something there, but I'm a little disappointed.
No, but it's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea because I
By the way,
remember
Punjabi mind
after
is going to sleep.
demonetization, this was this same group. There were WhatsApp forwards of this same group coming out with this transaction tax nonsense. The horrible thing with it is it completely shifts the burden of tax on the poor because they end up paying the same level as you.
The poor who are.
Oh, it won't go up pyramidal style with
It's the worst thing for older people who've retired who've already paid tax on their money, and now we'll have to pay another tax on that
And they do a
transaction.
transfer up. But does it go up with the kind of new numbers involved?
No, I think it's a flat tax.
It's a flat tax.
Flat tax. So then the poor are screwed.
Poor screwed, everyone
We've never
screwed.
the elite at last. They're thinking of us.
And can you imagine the kind of
Garib ko
corruption
hatao,
there will
garib
be?
ko hatao. That's the new thing.
No, exactly. Just imagine the corruption that this brings in. No? I mean, like, how can we create a parallel banking system? It's not enough that we have a parallel economy functioning in tax.
Yeah.
Now, how do we create a parallel banking
Is it a
system?
joke? It's just a WhatsApp.
I don't know. It's a full. They've got a page. They have a website.
These
It's
are the
called
people who suggested
These are economists
demonetization.
who are involved in the demonetization philosophy.
They suggested the idea of demonetization.
So why are we going after the government? We need to catch these, keep them at 11 to 6 at an Nakabandi, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, clearly.
Just
Take
one
away
sec.
their internet connection.
Here, can you guys see this? I want to see how this works. A
Wow.
little bit. It's a full page ad.
Just read it. My eyes are on. These demon guys are back with a full page ad. Anyone who's funding them? Who's funding them? And then no wonder Suha.
No wonder Sita saying new budget would be one of its kind in the past 100 years.
One of its kind. See, these are like I said in the theater, we say, as expected. These are the kind of lines you keep with you when you don't want to give a judgment left or right. Yeah. Fabulous. Right. Back to the topic.
Singapore has approved lab cultured meat, basically lab grown chicken. They've approved, and now they have a restaurant. So a few weeks back they had already approved this, and a restaurant now has been the first restaurant to debut 3 dishes worth 1,700 rupees at the restaurant, which are basically lab grown meat.
So by lab grown meat is they use the cells. No one is killed, right?
Yeah, no one's killed.
So for people like me, it's that halfway house where we have to embrace. If you like animals and all that, and you don't still want to eat meat.
So is it plant based or is it protein based? So there's 2 ways of doing this, right? I mean, so there's plant based and lab grown. Is it lab grown?
It's lab grown.
It's lab grown.
Protein based. I read
using animal cells. So using animal cells.
Animal cells.
Yeah. Animal cells, lab grown.
Lab grown. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So it is lab grown.
Yeah.
But, what are your thoughts? Like, would you be open to something?
My worry. I'll bring you a word: margarine. You see, when they took butter and decided we'll give you butter with less fat or whatever, that non-butter didn't work or doesn't work so well, primarily because everybody loves the taste of actual butter. So now, for this to work as a non-vegetarian, I'm just hoping the taste is very close to the real stuff. Otherwise, I don't see. Then you become like a vegan, because the guys who can be vegan are strong enough spiritually to do that. Will do it anyway.
Yeah.
For us in the middle to turn, we need a little bit of incentive because we're weak. Amit, your thoughts as an
I mean, like I know that the Beyond Burger and those kinds of things are supposedly now at the point where it's not 100% there, but it's like 95, 97% there, right? It's not like as good as a real burger, but it's really, really close. And so a lot of people are starting to eat those really regularly now, right? But this was not the case when these things first started, right? When the burger substitutes first started, they were a little they were like 60-70% of what a burger.
I had this fake meat in Singapore back in the early 2000s. It was horrible.
Oh no, but that was soya, no? That was not.
Yeah, that was soya.
Soya meat is horrendous.
It was horrendous, and for hardcore meat eaters, you could tell immediately. So
soya meat is awful. This is not soya meat, right? This is whether it's plant based or
it's very close to whether abortion should be legal or not. But let's not go there.
I don't even know how we got there.
Yeah, what the hell?
I mentioned abortion, and Amit Doshi has dropped out of sight for me. I mean, listen, Amit, that controversy is not so big in India. Be careful. He probably owns a couple of clinics, being an Indian out there. Not funny. Let's go back. On point.
Okay. Yeah, no, so the Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger, all of those things, right? I mean, like, those things are really good now. I know a bunch of people who prefer to eat them because animal cruelty, et cetera, right? So, I mean, like, they prefer to eat those now. And so I'm sure chicken will go the same kind of progression, where right now it might be okay-ish, but as time goes on, it'll get better and better. And chicken as it is the most tasteless thing anyway, right? Chicken has no taste. It has a taste of what's around it.
It has the least taste. But availability is the other issue, no?
I think the scaling this up is going to be a problem because right now they're realizing that scaling this thing up is quite expensive.
Long process to get it through cells, this, that, and the other. It's not exactly like.
It's a big process. I mean, it's a full lab ka big process.
Can we human beings in that way? Because you're not actually killing them. So you can take human cells and you can sort of make it, and then in a sense, is it okay then? It's not exactly cannibalism.
You can eat a chimpanzee is 99.98% similar to your DNA, so it's almost the same thing. It's closer than what Beyond Burger is to like an actual
animal, right? Planet. Huh?
No, a chimpanzee is closer to you than what Beyond Burger is to actual meat. So I mean, like,
chimpanzee is closer to me than most of my relatives. I got it to you right.
Is it legal to eat a chimpanzee? I don't think so.
I'm sure there are places where it might be.
Amit, you're doing so much bad.
It's not legal in India.
Show, right?
It's not legal in India. Okay, guys, you can't touch the chimpanzee in India. And if you have a very hairy uncle with large lips or whatever, just leave him alone. Please.
Unless you're in the Indiana Jones movie, right? Was that a chimpanzee or was that a monkey?
Amrish Puri, monkey brains, yeah.
It was monkey brains, wasn't chimpanzee.
Brains in Southeast Asia is a delicacy, and unfortunately, it's eaten by a lot of people. But chimpanzees themselves can be cannibalistic, as we've discussed on.
They can.
If you're a Joe Rogan fan, it's one of his favorite topics, and vicious, severely vicious, parallel to human beings in terms of what they can do. Man or pansy. Pansy is the right word. What do you call a gay chimpanzee? Okay, no, that's not right. That's not right.
So somebody forwarded me an article recently, right, where it was like basically all the cruelest animal things that you can see happen, right? And they're all the normal, like, ducks, which are like gang rapists, and dolphins, and like, porpoises and all the normal stuff that you see, right? But the one that really freaked me out, or the thing that really freaked me out about this was they were talking about chimpanzees, right? And basically how, because again, so close, right? From a genetic perspective, but chimpanzees would literally genocide out like, potential mates' kids and stuff like that and eat them.
Full tribe is killed.
Yeah. And like eat them, like actually
one group or tribe kills the other group or tribe to the man.
I was just like, wow, that's
Genghis Khan bad.
Dark. Huh? It's super dark, right? I mean, like, kill and eat.
They're ruthless. There's a ruthlessness and a savagery which is unmatched in the animal kingdom.
Except by human beings.
Oh, they are 100% them. They only 19 us. Come on, do the match, yaar.
They were the experiment. We're the full product.
Yes, we are.
God's finest work.
What was? I'm sure most people have read *Sapiens* who are listening to this, right?
Yes,
and they talk about this a lot, right? I mean, like, the idea of like human cruelty and like how we are unique as a species in terms of like how we interact with the environment, right? I mean, like most other species adapt to environments. We make environments adapt to us, right? And I think that's the kind of crux over there of like how it's just, I mean, like we're awful to the planet
because of cognitive functioning evolving and going up, and or whichever way you want to look at it. We have horrible music. I feel that's a huge problem. I think chimpanzees probably have much better music than us, but today
somebody seriously needs to explain.
Music has driven me out of control. I think we should, as a species, be removed just because of that.
Exactly. Somebody needs to explain EDM to me. I just don't understand it. And I feel like I like a lot of music.
And it sounds like IVM for a second. So be careful. Let's just go electronica or whatever. I don't know what the right. I just couldn't get it when young Nikhil Chinnappa used to play it for me for the first time. It sounded like, electric pulses happening, like, you're doing a cardiogram or something, or EMI, what's it called, MRI is going on and the sound is amplified. Ting, 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 ting. It just goes on for half an hour like that. So, yeah.
No, I seriously, you're exactly right. I feel like I enjoy almost every kind of music except for that. That's the only kind of music where I'm listening to it. I'm like, God, what is this? When will it end? Right? I like jazz.
You need to be drunk enough for
brought us to this topic. I'm so glad. Yes.
I've been drunk plenty, Tushar, but I mean, like, just...
Tushar, are you pro or against electronica?
I like all kinds of music. It's a feeling. I have realized music is a feeling here. If you feel you enjoy it.
Your primal side gets into it. So you don't have to take it in any other area.
Yeah, my inner chimpanzee jumps around with it.
There you go. And let's not talk about the original chimp, because his generation has foisted this on all of us. Mr. Silverie, aapka kya jawab hai?
So I'm a huge fan of a subgenre of EDM called electro jazz.
Rid of you from the show.
Electro jazz. There's an artist called Parov Stellar that I'm a huge fan of. So I would say that you guys check that out, because that's a more mellow.
Can we kill him and use his cells to make
better beats?
Then I'll play his music while eating. How about that? Let's see if he enjoys it. Cells enjoy that.
They're fun gigs. Electric gigs are damn fun.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Okay.
I think towards the end of my drinking career, this is the only thing which will sober me up. I just get so angry.
Same here.
And I'm like, guys, why am I here, man?
No, I agree with you. I feel the same way about this stuff, right? I mean, like I get actively annoyed when it's like full on, like that it's just like
They're getting no empathy from the other two, bro.
I know.
They're looking like these old uncles that they have to put up with at the Christmas party or Diwali party or whatever it is.
No, but I like. It's not that I don't like modern music either. I like a lot of new music. It's just I can't stand the EDM.
Yeah, neither can
I just can't. I don't get it.
Yeah, I feel like you're inside a machine. Yeah,
I feel like that you have to be doing drugs to enjoy it. I really do. I think that's the only way to kind of.
Polish drugs are accepted in some societies and Bandra, ganja. I mean, I'm talking about serious drugs. Okay, guys. Quickly, one more topic. Then
one more topic. Yeah, sure. So this one again comes from Russia. I was going to talk about earlier, but
Paresh Rawal over your shoulder is irritating me again.
Okay, sorry, man. Should I remove it? You want me to remove Paresh Rawal from
Nothing, bro.
remove Paresh Rawal from the building.
Motivating him now.
Yeah. First electronic, then meat, then Paresh Rawal. It's removed everything. China, Russia. Who's the fascist now? Go on.
All right. The article is Russian opposition leader Alexey Navalny duped spy into revealing how he was poisoned. So basically, Alexey Navalny, who is the primary opposition to Vladimir Putin,
And then they did the test and all that, huh?
Yeah, correct. So in back in August, he had been poisoned at an airport. They say through a Russian nerve agent called Novichok is the nerve agent.
Yeah, they've used before in Britain and other.
Yeah, correct. So now what has happened is they got to know that this spy from the Russian spy by the name of Konstantin Kudria. Okay, I'm not going to pronounce his last name. Konstantin. This
Khanna.
Yeah. KK.
When in trouble, always say Bunty. I think Bunty is a universal word.
This spy called Konstantin. He basically
he learned nothing from us, Tushar.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, fine. KK, whatever.
Arey, bol to sahi.
Basically, Navalny got in touch with this guy and acted as if he was a part of Russian Security Council, and basically started talking to this guy. Hey, so what happened? What went wrong with that poisoning of Navalny? What went wrong? Like, why did we not succeed in that?
I want to know.
Okay.
What I want to know is how bad is this spy?
No. So he was apparently.
phone karke sawal
How is it so easy to get him? Is he in the yellow pages? No. Spy. So the spy. There are lots of people in Russia.
It was a 45-minute call. It was like a 45-minute long call. And over the course of the call, Navalny had to convince him, okay, no, you tell me fast. I'm going into a meeting right now with the Security Council and we don't talk about this. So this guy's like, oh, okay, fine. Now, this is what we did. We put the nerve agent in his underwear. And because that is like the most fast acting.
That is the one thing that disturbs me the most. ऐसा चड्डी के अंदर डाला.
Yeah, how did they get a hold of his underwear?
That's not cool. That is not cool.
As a man,
you kill me, but don't do something bad.
As a man, it's one thing to do something bad to a fellow man, but when you do that, that's a chimpanzee-like behavior, is it not?
Yeah, you crossed the line.
Really? I mean, just kill him, for God's sake. I mean, what the hell is this? The guy leaving the airport holding his balls? Well, that's not fair.
This is the story.
Hey, Amit, do you have anything to declare?
No, this is literally this is a movie, right? I mean, like you have the opposition leader conning somebody himself. The opposition leader himself is on the call, conning the spy.
Or was it?
No, it was him.
Bro, he was himself.
I can't understand how he can call the guy up. I mean, how easy is that?
Because there is a toxin.
I have a manager that you contact for events and all that.
No. Basically, he was
toxins team. They have a toxins team at the FSB.
Excellent.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is insane, right? I mean, like, there's a group of 9 people who are considered the team for poisoning at the FSB. It's just incredible. I mean, like, it's just
all these 9 people are available to the public during working hours.
So apparently,
they have
all of them.
It's all clear.
No, he apparently spoke to all of them, but most of them, they didn't hide who he was. And this last person, they tried to sting him. This was the last one available to them. They stung him. They did sting on him, and he kind of broke on it.
And the other 8 don't have each other's numbers, but the public has everybody's. Wow.
So they're saying that Putin last month had already admitted, okay, we were following, the FSB was following this Navalny guy. But if Russia wanted him dead, he would be dead.
Yeah.
That's what Putin said.
Why did he have to say that? We all know that. It's unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have to say it. I think he just wanted to avoid an embarrassment. Okay, no, it's not like we wanted to kill him in the first place.
I'll say this in Russia's defense.
We did not succeed.
All countries have been ruthless with this kind of behavior from time to time. Don't think that perhaps not the Scandinavian countries, but all Western democracies have got their own little dirty linen that could be washed at the right time. Whether you talk about UK, USA, even Australia, South Korea, Japan. I mean, all these lovely countries will also have Israel, of course. And I think we must be having.
Of course, we must. We must be having. Yeah, for sure.
Oh no, but see, this is what makes you guys heard about the spying thing in the U.S., right? Where they supposedly Russia and Donald Trump is saying China, but there's this massive controversy hack which has happened where.
But Mike Pence said it was Russia.
Oh no, but Donald Trump, there's some shit going on right now where it's China, because Donald Trump wants to put China because Donald Trump is Donald Trump, but the Russians were basically able to set in the middle of a software update which was being used by all these different government agencies, and they sent their own update instead. They substituted the update on which they gave them backdoors, right? Now, the thing is that the US is complaining about this quite a bit, or we're finding out about this and they're talking about this. But the truth of the matter also is that nobody does more digital espionage than the US does.
That is true.
The US ended there. Now be nice to the US. For 4 years, you bamboozled everybody and brandished the fiery sword.
I mean, listen, it's real, right? I mean, like any country that's not doing cyber espionage right now,
it's a bit like racism, literally. Because you're just giving a name to a country which is obviously doing it and not really hiding it as much as they pretend to. Well, the other countries are a little more subtle or do it a little less in magnitude, but they also do it. They eliminate people left, right, and center. Somebody was shot in Tehran. The guy
that journalist recently.
You're right. The journalist from Washington Post got killed in Saudi Arabia. And I mean, like the number of actors that India and Pakistan are probably killing across the border from each other is also not negligible. I'm sure that there are dozens of people every year.
We are all Russians and we are all chimpanzees. That is the moral of the story.
Yeah, we're just more subtle about it, I think. Some are more subtle than others.
Some are 99.8%, not 98.9%. Whatever the it has. Hey guys, shall we go to the AMAs? I have 10 rich people waiting for me.
Yes, sure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Once again, just a quick reminder, please do help us out by filling out our survey. It's at ivmpodcast.com/survey. It really does help us figure out who's listening and, what are the characteristics that we can go and push to advertisers. That is massively helpful to us. Please, please, please do help out with that. So, on the network this week, let me start with a quick milestone. It's the 100th episode of Begin the Journey with Ashish Vidyarthi. Congratulations to Ashish and the team. Great show. If you're not listening to it, he talks to you about just how to approach life. It's just very, very cool stuff. Do check this out. Want to mention the note with Maruk Inayat. She talks about why petrol prices are so high. On the Wired Talk, Siddharth speaks with Harsh Mandar. On Advertising is Dead, Varun speaks to Kabir Biswas, the founder of Dunzo. They have a really interesting conversation about, what's the future of Dunzo and what they're thinking about. On the Traveling Professor's Diaries, check out Siddharth talk about the performance paradox. I found it really fascinating and interesting. I think that you guys will really get something out of listening to that. Please do give that a listen. And finally, let me mention Zindagi Diaries. It's Ragini Kumar's poetry podcast. The first week when it came out, we put out 5 poems first week. We put out another 5 poems this week, and the response has been phenomenal. Do check it out. It's in Hindi. It's a poetry podcast. Something a little different. Do give it a shot and let us know what you think. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me. Now, the AMAs.
All right. The first one comes in from Preet. The title is Cyrus, You Rock. Haha. Hey, Cyrus, Amit and Antariksh and guest. My question is for Amit.
Did you realize, Silverie, when you said Cyrus, you rock, Amit and Tushar didn't even blink. Like when the little kid in the room, somebody says chocolate or something and nobody really reacts to it, yeah.
I know you rock, yeah.
Yeah, they know you rock.
My reactions are irrelevant.
I've taken it on the face.
Preet says, my question is for Amit. I just recently heard about Scientology in the US and how people think it is a cult. I just recently heard about Scientology in the US and how people think it is a cult. Also heard Leah Remini on the Joe Rogan podcast. What are your thoughts? Also, have you ever come across any person who is a Scientologist during your stay in the US?
I never met a Scientologist that I know about.
Well, what is Tom Cruise?
He's not
He's a Scientologist.
But met in person as in?
So Amit hasn't met Tom Cruise,
Okay.
basically.
I have not.
I thought they're cousins.
I haven't met John Travolta. I have not met.
John
who's
Travolta
the other-
also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John
John
Travolta
Travolta,
also said.
So during COVID, if they get it, they don't take any vacation.
I don't know. So
No. They are
they're-
they're not anti-science.
Yeah, they're
not technically
anti-psychology.
anti-science. They're anti-psychology for some
and
reason.
they're anti-logic, and they're all about making sure that you give them all your money, right? I mean, like that's
So basically, like most religions, then.
essentially.
Did you guys ever watch the documentary Going Clear?
No,
About
I never
Scientology?
did.
It's
Never did.
if you're interested in the subject, it's
What's it about?
basically about how they get you. They get you young. They get the entire family young, and then they groom you into Scientology, and they know your
They get
secrets.
one person first.
There's something called
from the
auditing.
family.
Yeah, they usually get the parents, and then the parents involve their children when they're younger, and then the children grow up in the organization. So it's all that.
What's
And
the
there's
guy's name who started it?
L. Ron Hubbard.
L. Ron Hubbard, yeah.
That's right.
And
But
so basically,
it's a
they have
Yeah,
they
sorry,
have a
go
thing called auditing, which basically is they basically like counsel you in a way where you reveal your very deep secrets, your deepest secrets, and that's how they have something on you now. So that's why they say that people like Tom Cruise and Travolta haven't left for all these years, because Scientology has some dirt on them. And that's a major
auditing
assumption.
sounds like-
This is a book. This is written in the book,
I-
clear, and then
I
became a
just-
documentary after
I
that.
find that little hard. to believe.
Sorry, this auditing sounds like a bunch of CAs were sitting around you and going like, "ये किधर खर्चा किया तूने?
It's also
Why did you spend this?"
also the same guys who come up with this one tax on bank withdrawals.
Yeah, pretty much.
So-
They're
It's the
Scientology.
I
guys
just
who
went-
Scientology. Yeah, we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
I just did a quick search on, like, what are the famous Scientologists besides Tom Cruise and John Travolta.
Mhm.
Elizabeth Moss from this
Handmaid's Tale, yeah.
and Mad Men. Jenna Elfman, the Dharma and Greg girl. Laura Prepon from That 70s Show. Danny,
Yeah,
Laura
but-
Prepon. Oh, wow.
Oh, damn it.
Danny
Damn, that's
Masterson
right.
from That 70s Show. Lisa Marie Presley. Juliette Lewis from Natural Born Killers. Giovanni Ribisi, the guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Then Isaac Hayes, the musician. Sonny Bono, Sharon Bono. Beck, the musician. Michael Pena, the guy from Ant-Man.
Yeah, Michael Pena. Yes, Scientologist.
Oh, shit, Michael Pena.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Kirstie Alley from Cheers.
Donald Trump.
Catherine Bell from Jag. My God, it's insane.
Wait, did you say Bono is a Scientologist?
No,
it's, uh,
a different
uh,
one. Not your generation. Boy,
Okay.
down. Electronic arts.
this is
Sunny and Sherwala.
Ian Sherwala.
Okay.
Anne Archer from Patriot Games, the actress in that.
So it's an elite club, but not that
Are there
elite.
any
also, like-
Indians? Are there any
Yeah,
Indians in
yeah.
this list?
No, but obviously, Hollywood has spewed more Hollywood because there's lots of Hollywood there.
Yeah.
I want to know we would know the names of some industries, but how many heavyweights are there? Rich
So
people.
there were a lot of journalists in this list. So I was skipping those names, right? Because we wouldn't necessarily know.
Generally broke.
Yeah.
No, so like Greta Van Susteren, who was like a Fox journalist. And there were some.
Foxy lady.
Uh,
Don't say
Sure.
that. It's wrong.
yes.
How dare you stand corrected? Go on.
No, but it's crazy what kind of. And I'm sure you're right. There are probably just as many, like, big businessmen and.
I was just thinking, you can do this as a promo. We'll just cut out all the names you mentioned and say coming soon on our podcast. You know, we can loop it also. It makes sense if you're not lying. Yeah, in a way, because they are coming on our podcast, but not in person. Okay, so quick word about Leah Remini. Did you see the Joe Rogan podcast with her? And
Yeah,
what is that about?
I've seen. Yeah.
I saw some clips, but I didn't see the whole thing.
But again, she's talking about Going Clear only. She's talking about the whole thing that is mentioned on the documentary in Going Clear. She's talking about the whole process only on that.
She's defending her right to Scientological culture, and
No.
that there's nothing.
No, she's defending leaving Scientology and then speaking against it on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, then I could see the podcast.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, she's actively anti. Right? She was involved in the movie. She was involved in the documentary.
Yeah,
making
she was.
itself.
She was.
Let's understand. She was first in the fold, and then she's actively against the fold.
Correct.
Yeah.
She believes that she was.
It's like those TMC MPs who have left TMC and gone to BJP and now are very anti-TMC.
Yeah.
For my audience is very Bengali at the moment.
Yeah. Like Leah Remini was talking about how her family, who is still in Scientology, they're against her. They're not allowed by Scientology to talk to her. By Scientology doesn't allow her to talk to her family because they're still involved with the church and all that. It's crazy.
Wow. Lovely. So they have their own versions of right-wing MAGA outfits. They don't need to come here. They've got their.
Also, to be fair, knowing a lot of Indian families, it's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, really.
Not being allowed to talk to your family.
Less invites, the better. Chalo, one more quick.
All right.
Then
This
Cyrus
last one.
has to exit.
Last one comes in from Abhik Ghosh. He says, "Hey Cyrus and team, I loved your interview with Sanjay Jha. Always thought Sanjay Jha was extremely well spoken and one of the few Indian politicians who speaks both Hindi and English very well. Apart from him being a Liverpool fan, I'm a United fan. Abhik says. Apart from him being a Liverpool fan, I can't help but think how problematic this whole family dynasty, some call it nepotism in politics, has corroded Congress. I think Congress needs its own Modi or Amit Shah just to give it a much needed shake. Seems like Congress is mostly made of good people, and no one kind of takes the bull by the horn and takes the matter in their own hand.
Not cow, bull, stand corrected. But very quickly, that might be a bit of genius there. Because if you look at the way Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, for example, comes completely from left field. In the sense from Gujarat, but you didn't expect him to be a central politician, say 20 years ago. Where in the Congress will they find this new blood? Literally new blood, not even names we know. I think that's where they really, if they can do that, rather than just look at the 4 or 5 names that we keep spewing and talking about, then they have a chance. But where are these people?
You think we need our AOC? We need our.
No, we don't need an AOC. Please, we don't need an AOC. The most overrated politician ever.
But she's making waves. It's she'll go
she's
far.
not necessarily in a good way.
You all are looking
I
at
think, the thing about
or people that you can look at. I'm thinking about where the people who can plan and strategize for the future for a party, that area, not just a populist leader. That you'll get. And you may get many of them and they can come together as a collective and you can get. But where's this?
when I think about it,
They
come. The thing is, they do come, yaar. Like, I mean, who knew Modi before 2002, or who knew a lot of these other guys before? Okay, sorry, 2001.
Kanayadal, right? That's another common example used in the sense of somebody.
So I mean, people pop up as it's also the moment in time. I think sometimes just things fall into place, and also I think the Congress needs
I've been
ground game
for a West Indies revival in cricket since 1992. Okay, 95 when they lost their series to Australia, and it's not really ever happened. My worry is maybe that's it then.
Because the NBA happened, for West Indies.
Look at it in any way you want. The NBA happened here as well with different letters. But I'm just saying maybe they need to break up into 2-3 other parties and some new sort of party come through the old party. Maybe that's the order.
I don't know, because I think we're at that point, where the thing is you need something. And I don't know if the breakup is going to help, because if you're noticing for all the hate that Congress gets, it's still at least standing by a lot of the basic principles.
Well, one sec, before endorsing anyone, I'm just saying the 23 elite who wrote that letter have not got a response. It doesn't.
No, they just met her. They just met her on Saturday.
So what is the compromise of that?
They're doing another meeting.
So what I'm saying is, it doesn't look like things will change. So then that's why a breakaway would happen. So sort of.
No, but possible. But I don't know. I feel because now over the last 5 years, my faith in regional parties has massively gone down, because they have just
switch side left and right.
Okay, as long as we survive, we're okay with all of these other horrible things.
That I think is that's the fundamental issue in Indian politics: power at any cost, right? I think that's all of our.
Nobody really cares about their so-called principles and manifesto, so we can get them back to secularism as long as you give them votes.
So our political parties are all centered around personalities rather than being centered around ideologies, right? And ideology is important, right? Intellectual thought is important if you want to have a structure for a party to exist around. Even like like one of the problems that I have with the BJP, just generally, right, is that the ideology outside of Hindutva, and Hindutva is also not a very coherent ideology, right? But the ideology around the ideology outside of that is just non-existent. The problem with the Congress is even worse. They have no ideology. They are soft.
They're opposed the BJP at the moment because the BJP is carrying too much weight. But Hindutva is not the word. The word is fostering whatever they think is their subculture on everybody else, which you can loosely call Hindutva, but that's not foisting.
No, I think it is Hindutva. Devdutt Patnaik has been doing like a lot of tweeting recently, right? Contrasting Hinduism with Hindutva, right? And basically the idea that Hindutva is a more exclusive, more in the tradition of the exclusionary kind of religions than Hinduism has been traditionally, right? Which I think is
which political ideology.
Patnaik can start the new party. The Congress P. P for pathetic.
Okay.
And people like us who make the biggest contribution to India,
So they'll get 70 votes then.
at least before they start charging us every bank.
But this personality thing, the problem is also that, Amit, we're a feudal society. And that's the problem. I mean, look at our businesses. Even our businesses are family-run businesses.
And
Even our biggest business is a
we
family-run business.
have to follow. That seems to be in the DNA.
And we're obsessed with the idea of a strong man. Strong man. I'm like, but see what the strong man is doing.
But I think you are starting to see that change to a great degree in business particularly, right? Where, some of the biggest businesses are still family-run businesses, but they're all professionalized to a huge, massive degree, right?
It's getting there.
Yeah, and a lot of the newer age businesses that you're looking at, right? I mean, like things like if you look at what's happening right now in the stock market and who the big stockbrokers are turning into, if you look at what's happening in the mutual fund space, you look at what's happening in fintech, you look at what's happening in just all e-commerce, which is again, like, how people are buying things and how people will buy things for the next 50, 100 years. These are not family run in the same way, right? And they never will be.
Yeah, but there's still enough of parallel family-run enterprises, business as well. I mean, look at professions, look at everything, and you use that sort of vintage position from the past to carry on.
So
give you
carry on your privilege, no?
Like
carry on your
privilege. Become famous comedians, perhaps, because he's already put the platform there.
Because the father could never become one.
But I mean, I'll take your point. Like Walmart, which is a family business, right? Walmart's existence does not preclude Amazon. Right, and Amazon is probably what's going to eat the world in the future, not Walmart, right? And I think that we'll see the same thing happening over here, and we are seeing it happen over here, right? It takes time; it's not going to happen overnight. But think about this: how many of you guys have used Urban Company during this last 9 months, right? Almost everybody I knew at some point in time has called some Urban Company person home, AC fix, electrician fix, whatever, because none of our normal people were around, right?
Because you don't have building Raju like we have. But anyway, go on.
No, but I think that these things take time, but they are definitely changing. And I think that we'll see this reflected in politics as well.
No, my point is, I mean, the problem with the Congress is that for the longest time, they depended on the Gandhi name to get votes. And they've had a whole bunch of leaders who may be good technocrats, but they're not necessarily populist politicians. And now that the Gandhis are not getting votes, they don't, and all these other second-ring politicians have nothing.
Topic another day so we can really get into it, because this is a huge topic and very meaty for all of us.
It's a huge topic.
We will do it. I have to stop here. I'll leave with one happy thought though. Everybody's attacking my poor Indian cricket team for 36 all out. I just think Virat and Ravi missed a trick. When Shami got injured, they should have declared. That way, 36 declared means we are not all out, which means a lower score. Huge mistake. And the Chanakya mind that I want the Congress to have was not there in a cricket team at that point. That's the point. That's it. All right. See you guys. Got to run. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you. We need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
If you love cricket, listen up. The Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast is here for you. Hosted by DJ, Varun, and me, Ashwin, we bring a fun, fresh fan's point of view to talking all things cricket. Sometimes it's just the three of us, sometimes we have guests, including current and former international cricketers. For new episodes every week, check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast on the IVM app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you wonder what goes inside the mind of an achiever? How do they manage to get back up on their feet in spite of their failures? Do they really do something different? You're absolutely right. Yes, they do. I'm Aditi Surana. Join me every Wednesday and Friday on my show Absolutely Right, where I use my special tool of handwriting analysis, also known as graphology, to interview high performers and study secrets behind their success and personality. You can catch us on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcast from.